students! Welcome to Mathematics 9 class. It is me again, your Mom Shay, a Mathematics 9 teacher to help and guide you in studying mathematics in times of modular distance learning. We are now in our third quarter, and this session will focus on our week 1 lesson about quadrilaterals and parallelograms. In this session, we will be achieving these most essential learning competencies. First, determine the conditions that make a quadrilateral a parallelogram. And second, use properties to find measures of angles, sides, and other quantities involving parallelograms. I know you have heard the word quadrilateral, and I believe you are very familiar with this. Let us start with your own understanding about quadrilateral. Using this interactive electronic platform or the book club, let us try to think of words or phrases associated with the word quadrilateral using the word cloud feature. I'm going to share the link in our GC. You have 2 minutes to start this activity. You may start now. Wow, that is a great start. You have the idea or prior understanding about the quadrilateral. And yes, you were right. Quadrilateral comes from the word quad, which means 4, and lateral, which means side. Therefore, quadrilateral can be translated as any figure with 4 sides. This time, try to look around, whether your learning area is inside your home or outside. Oops, you don't need to wander around because everything you need in this activity is just within your sight. Can you identify the objects that are in the form of quadrilaterals? That's great! Try to write it in our word cloud. Again, I will share the link in our GC. Your 2 minutes starts now. Wow, you really did a great job! Those are all examples of quadrilaterals. Even if the sides are uneven or irregular, as long as it has 4 sides, it is a quadrilateral. Now, using the Jamboard app, create your own collage art of the different quadrilaterals that you may see inside or outside your house. You may take a picture of it and upload it in our board. You may use the different tools in the Jamboard app to create a wonderful artwork such as the drawing tools, the picture tools, or the sticky note. Don't you worry, you will do this as a group based on your section. You have 5 minutes to accomplish this activity. Good luck! Wow! Amazing! Your output really showcases your creativity, your collaboration, and your resourcefulness. Great job! As you may see, quadrilaterals are everywhere around us. From the books, the doors, the windows, everything inside our house or in our schools, the roads, the signboards, these are all quadrilaterals. The list of real-world examples of quadrilaterals is endless. Wherever you look, you can find them. And now, if you want to dig more about this, let us zoom in the world of quadrilaterals.
A quadrilateral is a plain mathematical figure with 4 sides. So these are the sides of our quadrilateral. If our plane figure has 4 sides, so it is a quadrilateral. And of course, If it has four sides, of course, it also has four angles. Okay. So again, a quadrilateral is a plane mathematical figure with four sides and four angles. Quadrilateral is named by taking vertices in order, either in clockwise or counterclockwise. So let us check out this figure. We have figure ABCD. In a counterclockwise direction, it can be named as, so we have different ways on how to name a quadrilateral. Okay, so ito po yung iba't ibang paraan. Pwedeng in counterclockwise direction, it is named as quadrilateral ABCD. Or it can be named as quadrilateral BCDA. Or quadrilateral CDAB. Lastly, we can also name it as quadrilateral DABC. So that is for the counterclockwise direction. While in a clockwise direction, we can also name this quadrilateral as quadrilateral ADCB. Again, another way is by quadrilateral DCBA. And another way is we can name it as quadrilateral CPAD or a quadrilateral PADC. So these are the ways on how we can name a quadrilateral.
Now that you know the different ways on how to name a quadrilateral, let us explore now the different types of quadrilaterals. As you may see, quadrilaterals can be classified into different groups depending on the number of the parallel sides they contained. A few common types of quadrilaterals are trapezoid, parallelogram, and kite. While a parallelogram can be classified as a rectangle or a rhombus, a square, on the other hand, can be a rectangle or a rhombus. For this third quarter, we will be dealing with these kinds of quadrilaterals. And as start, we will begin exploring the parallelogram.
So when can we say that a quadrilateral is a parallelogram? So kailan nga ba natin masasabi that a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, since we know that we have different kinds of quadrilateral? Okay, so these are the conditions. First, a quadrilateral is a parallelogram if it has two pairs of parallel sides. So meaning to say, a quadrilateral can be said or can be a parallelogram if and only if it has two pairs of parallel sides. So, ibig sabihin, kapag wala po or kapag iisang pares ang ating parallel sides, meaning it is not considered a parallelogram. Because a parallelogram should have two pairs of parallel sides. By the way, what do we mean by parallel? What do we mean by parallel sides? Sides na parallel. Okay. So, you remember the parallel lines? Very good. So, when we say parallel or parallel lines are those lines that never meet. So, sila yung lines na hindi magtatagpo kahit kailan. Ano? So, alin nga ba yung pares netong at sa ating figure, given figure natin, which is a quadrilateral ABCD. Again, this is a quadrilateral ABCD. Okay, so which are the parallel sides? Okay, again, when we say parallel lines or parallel sides, those sides that will never meet kahit i-extend pa natin yung line na yon in both direction. Okay, so hindi sila magtatagpo. So here in our figure, the parallel sides are side AB and side BC. Okay, so itong side po na to, ano? These sides will never meet kahit po extend natin ito pahaba. Ayan, they will never meet. Okay? So this is the one pair of parallel sides. When we write it, or when we represent it in a symbol, this is written as side, or side AB is parallel to side DC. So therefore, this is our symbol. This is the symbol for parallel line. So, pag nakakita kayo niyan, ibig sabihin, ang basa dyan ay parallel. Ano? So, side AB is parallel with side DC. So, another pair. Check natin, kailangan kasi 2 pairs of parallel side. Another pair is, or are, side, correct, side BC and side AD. Side BC and side AD, if you notice, are parallel lines or parallel sides. Okay, bakit po naging parallel? Kasi even though we extend it in both direction, hindi po sila magmi-meet. And aside from that definition, ito pong parallel lines natin ay, ayan, kailangan equal ang distansya sa isa't isa. Okay? Kailangan po equal yan. Kasi kapag ito ay hindi nag-equal, ito ay 10, pagdating dito, mula dito hanggang doon, ay naging 9. Siyempre, there will, magkakaroon ng tendency na sila ay mag-meet. Ano? So, kailangan po equal ang distances ng dalawang lines for it to be for it to be parallel lines. Okay? So, dito po, these are the parallel sides. Side BC and side AD. And if we represent it into symbol, we have side BC is parallel to side AD. Okay? So, ito po yung 2 pairs ng ating parallel sides. Since this figure, this quadrilateral ABCD has 2 pairs of parallel sides, so therefore, it is a parallelogram. Did you understand? Let us proceed to another condition. A quadrilateral is a parallelogram if both pairs of opposite sides are congruent. So, kailangan daw yung opposite parehas. So, both pairs of opposite sides are congruent. Alin naman po yung tinatawag nating opposite sides? Ito, opposite sides. Ayan. When we say opposite sides, yan po yung magkatapatan. Kapag po ang magkatapatang sides natin ay congruent, parehas ang sukat, therefore, it is a parallelogram. Now, let us check if our given here in our figure ABCD, a quadrilateral ABCD, kailangan po for it to be a parallelogram, kailangan alin pa dyan ang opposite sides? Okay, very good. Ang opposite side po dyan ay AB and side DC. Again, side AB and side DC. Since sila ang magkatapatang sides, sila ang tinatawag nating opposite sides. Kung opposite sides nila ay, kung ito yung opposite sides nila, it should be or they should be congruent, pareha. So we can say, in that definition, we can say that AB should be congruent to side DC. Since ito yung condition natin, dapat si side AB ay congruent kay side DC. As well as, pag sinabing congruent, equal po ang measurement. Ano? And another pair of sides are, ayan, we have the side BC and side AC. Aside from being parallel to one another, kailangan po they have equal measurement. Kailangan equal po. Kung ito ay 6 cm, dapat si AD ay 6 cm din. Para po siya ay maging parallelogram. So, when written in symbol, that is BC is congruent to AD. Okay? We have markings here. We use marking here as, ayan. So, dapat itong side na to at itong side na to, side AB and side BC are congruent. Kapag nakakita kayo ng markings na yan, it indicates that the two sides are equal or equal ang measurement kasi pareha sila ng markings. And to indicate that side BC and side AB are congruent, gagamit kayo naman ng another symbol or markings na parehas sila. So, ang ginamit ko dito, dalawang line. So, dito sa kanyang kaparehas, dalawang line din. Ano? So, therefore, side BC is congruent with side AD. So, this is how we represent it. At kapag nakakita kayo ng pairs ng opposite sides that are congruent, a quadrilateral is said to be a parallelogram. Okay? Third one. A quadrilateral is a parallelogram if both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. Yan. So, dito naman, opposite angles naman ang dapat na congruent or parehas ang sukat. When we say opposite angles, sila naman yung magkatapat na angles. So here in our figure our quadrilateral ABCD, these are the opposite angles. Si angle A and si angle C. Pwede din naman siyang angle BAD and angle BCD. So yun yung dalawang paraan or ways on how we name an angle. So here we have angle A and angle C. These are opposite angles kasi magkatapat sila na angles. So for it to be a parallelogram, kailangan daw itong opposite angles na to should be congruent. Parehas dapat ang sukat. If this measures 60 degrees, angle A should also measure 60 degrees. Again, if it measures 60 degrees, this angle should also measure 60 degrees. Did you understand? Okay. So another pair of opposite angles here are, okay, by the way, it is written as angle A is congruent with angle C. So this is how we represent it in symbol. Ito pong symbol na to refers to angle. Angle A is congruent. Ito po yung symbol for congruency. Is congruent with angle C. So that is how we write it. Ano? That is how we write it in symbol. And we read it as angle A is congruent with angle C. Okay? So another pair of opposite angles here. Very good. We have angle B and angle D, or angle CBA and angle ADC. So these are the opposite angles, magkatapat na angles. So dapat daw for it to be a parallelogram, the angle B and angle D should also be congruent. Kailangan parehas din sila ng sukat. Ano? Kailangan ang measure ng angle B ay kaparehas ng measure ng angle D. If this measures 120 degrees, so this should also be 120 degrees. Did you understand? Okay, so that is correct. Very good. Fourth condition, a quadrilateral is a parallelogram if any two consecutive angles are supplementary. So again, a quadrilateral is a parallelogram if any two consecutive angles are supplementary. So kailangan daw yung dalawang consecutive angles. Ano ba pag sinabi nating consecutive? Okay, magkasunod. Ano? Ang dalawang magkasunod na angles are supplementary. What do we mean by supplementary naman? Okay, naalala pa ba during your previous grade? When we say supplementary angles are those angles whose sum is 180 degrees. Kailangan pag pinag-add natin yung dalawang angles na yon, kailangan po ang total nila ay 180 degrees. Meaning, here in this condition, a quadrilateral is a parallelogram kapag two consecutive angles. Ang dalawang magkasunod na angles ay measures 180 degrees in all. So here, the consecutive angles are very good. Angle A and angle B. Magkasunod na angle sila. Angle A and angle B. So, kailangan daw kapag pinag-add natin yan, magto-total siya ng 180 degrees. So, yun po ang ibig sabihin ng condition na to. If this measures 60, kapag ang measure po ng angle A ay 60, dapat ang measure ng ating angle B ay what? Very good. So, that should be 120 degrees. Okay? So, kailangan 120 degrees. Ito, why? Kasi for it to be supplementary, kapag pinag-add natin ang dalawang angles na to, dapat ay mag-total siya sa 180 degrees. Did you understand? Okay. So, another consecutive angles are, yan. By the way, it is written as angle A plus angle B is equal to 180 degrees. Kailangan daw si angle A, kapag in-add kay angle B, magto-total siya ng 180 degrees. So, another consecutive angles are angle B and angle C. Magkasunod ding angles yan, di ba? So, dapat ito din ay magto-total din siya ng 180 degrees. And that is written as or represented as angle B plus angle C is equal to 180 degrees. So, meaning, going back with our first example, if this measures 120 degrees, kailangan po ang ating 120 degrees, ang ating angle C should be, very good, should measure 60 degrees, okay? Para pag in-add natin or tinotal natin yung dalawang yan, pag pinag-add natin, magto-total siya into 180 degrees. Did you understand? Alright. Next is, next opposite angle or next consecutive angles are angle C and angle D. Angle C and angle D are should also measures 180 degrees. Kailangan pag pinag-add din natin yan, 180 degrees din. So, meaning, we have angle C plus angle D is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, and another pair of consecutive angles are angle D and angle A. So, kailangan din po itong dalawang ito, pag pinag-add natin, magto-total din siya ng 180 degrees. Did you understand? Okay, so these are the consecutive angles. So, at ito rin yung ating fourth condition for a parallelogram to be a quadrilateral. Or, also, these are the properties of a parallelogram. Another condition is that a quadrilateral is a parallelogram if its diagonals bisect each other. So, again, a quadrilateral is said to be a parallelogram if its diagonals bisect each other. So, isa-isahin natin yung bawat terms. First, yung diagonals. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin natin ng diagonals? Or alin ba dito yung diagonals? Okay. The diagonals are the side or line AC. Ito po yung isang diagonal. And another one is the line BD. So, these are the diagonals of our figure ABCD. When we say diagonal, it is a line segment joining two vertices of a polygon. So here in this polygon, ito yung two vertices natin, two opposite vertices. Yung line na magdudugtong sa kanila, this is just an imaginary line, okay? Ang imaginary line na nagdudugtong sa two opposite vertices natin, yung po yung diagonal. Yung na-form natin na line, that is the diagonal. Alright? So, how about when we bisect? Okay, ano naman yung ibig sabihin natin ng bisect? Okay, when we say bisect, it means that it divides into two equal parts or dividing into two equal parts. Hahatiin natin sa dalawang magkaparehas na part or parehas lamang ang sukat. So here, when the two diagonals intersect at each other, okay? Pag sinabing nag-intersect, nagkasalubong. Nung ang dalawang lines ay nagkasalubong, yung dalawang diagonals natin ay nagkasalubong, it divide them into two equal parts. Or it divide each other into two equal parts. Ibig sabihin, ganito po yan. Nung ang ating line BD ay nag-intersect kay line AC, hindi lamang siya basta dumaan. Kundi doon siya mismo dumaan sa gitna para ma-divide niya into equal parts ang ating line AC. So, meaning to say, nung ang ating line BD ay nag-intersect kay ating line AC, nagkaroon po ngayon ng point of intersection. Ito yon, yung point of intersection kung saan sila nagkasalubong. Ano? Lagyan ngayon natin ng pangalan siya. Lagyan natin ng label. Kunyari, this is our point Q. Yun yung point of intersection natin. If there is a point Q here, so meaning, at our lines, ayan, yung ating line BD, nagkaroon or na-divide ngayon into two equal parts. Okay? Nung dumaan si line AC kay line BD, na-divide ngayon si line BD into two equal parts. So, pag sabing two equal parts, ang measurement po ni B or ni line BQ mula kay B hanggang Q dun sa point of intersection, BQ at ni DQ ay equal sa isa't isa. Or, representing it is written as line BQ is congruent to line DQ. Ibig sabihin, itong line na to, itong length na to, at saka ang length ng DQ ay equal ang measurement. If this measures 7 cm, ang measure po nitong DQ ay 7 cm din. Do you understand? Alright. Another one is that yung ang ating line BD when intersect with line AC, binisect niya. Pag sinabing bisect, nahati niya ulit into two equal parts. Okay? Two equal parts meaning yung ating side AQ or line AQ and line CQ are equal. We can say that they are equal dahil nga dito sa condition na to ng ating quadrilateral or ng ating parallelogram. Ano? Now, they divide each other into two equal parts. Hindi lang isa yung na-divide into two equal parts, kundi bawat isa, yung dalawang iyon ay parehas na divide sa ang isa't isa sa dalawa. Alright? So, naunawaan ba ang condition na to? Again, a quadrilateral is a parallelogram if its diagonals bisect each other. Alright? And lastly, a quadrilateral is a parallelogram if each diagonal divides the parallelogram into two congruent triangles. Again, a quadrilateral is said to be a parallelogram if each diagonal divides the parallelogram into two congruent triangles. So, yan. Kapag daw yung ating diagonal, alin ba yung diagonal? Ito po yun, the line BD. Kapag nagkaroon dito ng diagonal and you notice that there are two congruent triangles na na-form, so therefore, it is also a parallelogram. It is also a condition na siya ay parallelogram. Alright? So dito, when there is a diagonal here, diba, nagkaroon tayo ng dalawang triangles. The triangle ABD and triangle DCB. So, yan po yung unang triangle and another triangle. So, kapag pinaghiwalay natin, we've formed two congruent triangles. Parehas na parehas yan ng sukat. Kahit ating i-flip, pag finilip natin isang to at pagdugtungin natin, they are equal to each other. So that is a condition for a parallelogram to be for a quadrilateral to be a parallelogram. All right, so let us sum up everything. So a quadrilateral is a parallelogram if first, if it has two pairs of parallel sides. Okay? So, ito din yung mga itong pinapresent natin, these are also the properties of a parallelogram. Okay? Kapag nakita nyo ang mga properties na to in a figure, therefore, that figure can be considered as a parallelogram. First among them is, it has two pairs of parallel sides. So, dapat dalawang pares po ang kanilang parallel sides. Alright? So, here, the parallel sides ay ating side AB, ayan, and side DC. And another one is side AD and side BC. Okay? So, these are the parallel sides. Since dalawa yung pares niya ng parallel sides, so it is a parallelogram. Another one is both pairs of opposite sides are congruent. So, dapat po ang ating opposite sides, ito, side AB and side BC are congruent. Parehas lamang ng suka. If this measures 5 cm, 5 cm, dapat ang measure ng ating side BC is also 5 cm. Okay? And another one is that if our side AD, ito pa yung ating opposite sides. Okay? Side AD and side BC. Kailangan, if these opposite sides should also be congruent. If this is 2 cm, so therefore, ang measure po ng ating side BC is also 2 cm. Alright? Okay. So another one is, both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. So kailangan yung opposite pairs of angles are congruent. Alin ba yung opposite angles natin dito? Alright, yung ating angle A and angle C. So dapat ito ay congruent din, okay? For them to be congruent, ang ating angle A, kung ito ay 110 degrees, dapat ang ating angle C ay 110 degrees din. Alright? Naunawaan ba? Okay. Next. And ganun din po yung ating sa angle B. Angle B natin, sino ang congruent niya? Congruent angle? Okay, C angle D. Kasi sila ay opposite angles. If these are opposite angles, so their angles should be congruent. So another condition or another property, any two consecutive angles are supplementary. Again, when we say supplementary, it should have, or the sum of their measurements should sum up into 180 degrees. Kung ang ating angle A ay 110, ang consecutive angle ng ating angle A is angle D. Since they are consecutive angles, what is the measure of angle D? Alright, very good. So, angle D should measures, very good. So, 70 degrees. Paano po na ko sa 70 degrees? I-minus po natin sa 180 ang ating angle A, which is 110. Ano? So, 180 minus 110 is equal to 180, is equal to 70 degrees. And 110 plus 70 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Did you understand? Okay. So here, since ang angle din natin ay 70 degrees at alam naman natin that opposite angles are congruent. Ito, si D and si B. Therefore, si angle B ay measured ng 70 degrees din. Okay? Now, and if you notice, no, pag chinek natin that two consecutive angles are supplementary, lahat yan, pag pinag-add natin yung magkakatabing angles, lahat sila ay magtototal ng 180 degrees. Naunawaan? Okay. Next. If its diagonals bisect each other, so dapat yung diagonals niya, two opposite vertices, kapag nag-intersect, ay hindi lamang basta nag-intersect. Ano? They intersect at exactly, two equal parts. So, nag-bisect sila. Ano? So, ang measure po nito hanggang doon sa point of intersection ay equal dito kay C hanggang doon. If this is O, so therefore, AO is equal to CO, as well as DO is equal to BO. Alright? And lastly, each diagonal divides the parallelogram into two congruent parts. So, na-divide po siya into two equal parts. So, ibig sabihin, our triangle DAB is congruent with triangle DCB. Did you understand? Alright. So, let us have these illustrative examples. For our example number 1, we have to determine whether each quadrilateral is a parallelogram or not. So, hindi lamang po natin basta alamin if they are parallelogram or not, or if the set figure is a parallelogram or not. But, you also have to justify your answer. When we say justify your answer, you have to give reason. Okay? So, what would be our basis para masabi natin that this figure is really a parallelogram? Okay? So, papaano po yon? So we have to apply what we have learned in our lesson. You have to give a justification of your answers through stating the different properties of a parallelogram that would satisfy that a quadrilateral is really a parallelogram. So, ilan ba yung conditions na yun? We have 6. So, alamin natin. We have here given, may mga given naman dito sa ating figure. Like this example number letter A. We have here figure dine or figure D-I-N-E or our quadrilateral D-I-N-E. So, meron tayong mga given dito. May mga markings na ginamit. So, let us analyze this given. Is this a parallelogram or not? Okay, balikan natin lahat na napag-aralan natin, Alright, so if you notice, ang mga given figure dyan or ang mga given na markings or yung mga clue na ibinigay sa atin ay yung angles. If you notice, ang angles nila ay lahat ay right angle. Right angle yung measure. And when we say right angle, ibig sabihin, it measures 90 degrees. Kung 90 degrees ang ating angle D, ganun din si angle I, ganun din si angle N, ganun din si angle E. We know that in our, one of the properties of a parallelogram is that a quadrilateral, it's a parallelogram if both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. So, meaning to say, this is a parallelogram. This is an example of a parallelogram. Bakit? Kasi po ito yung justification natin. Because we know that both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. Kita naman natin na yung pares o yung opposite angles natin, yung magkatapat na angles natin ay congruent sa isa't isa kasi it measures 90 degrees, ang angle E natin ay measures 90 degrees din. So, they are congruent. Okay? So, another justification here is that alam naman natin na 90 rin si angle D, 90 rin si angle E, and they are consecutive angles. You can also justify that since they measures 90 degrees, all of them measures 90 degrees. So, meaning to say, the consecutive angles are also supplementary, di ba? So, that is one of the properties of a parallelogram. So, those are how we can reason out for our answer. Para masabi natin that this quadrilateral is really a parallelogram. Naliwanagan po ba sa ating example number 1, sa ating letter A? Alright, that is nice to hear, So, very good tayo dyan. So, let us try another. For our letter B, ang figure natin ay, okay, we have a quadrilateral JOSH or Josh, We have a quadrilateral JOSH. Now, is this a parallelogram or not? Okay, pag-isipan natin mabuti. Balikan natin lahat ng mga properties ng parallelogram. Parallelogram ba to or hindi? Okay, tingnan natin yung mga clues na ibinigay. Since we can see here a markings, di ba may mga markings dito. Like for example, mula dito kay J hanggang doon sa point of intersection, it measures 10 units. Here, mula dito kay S, papunta doon sa point of intersection, it measures 10. Okay? As well as, yung markings dito sa ating line HO na ito, it indicates that the two sides or the two lines mula doon sa point of intersections are equal. Parehas lamang ng sukat. So, therefore, is this a parallelogram or not? Okay, very good. So, this is a parallelogram. Yes po ang sagot. Ma'am, bakit? How can we reason out? Okay, very good. Because we know that diagonals bisect each other. Kasi diba, kapag na-divide into two equal parts yung ating diagonals, sabihin, nag-bisect. Then, therefore, we can say that yes, because the diagonals bisect each other. And if the diagonals bisect each other, we can say that a quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Okay? So, let us have this third example. Let us determine if it is a quadrilateral or not. Here, our figure is, we have a figure, our quadrilateral BREW or BREW. We have a quadrilateral BREW. is given measurements or markings or clues satisfies our conditions for a quadrilateral to be a parallelogram? Okay, tingnan natin. So, yung mga markings na to, meaning, we can say that B, or the line or the side BW is congruent with RE, right? Kasi itong markings na to, ibig sabihin, sila yung equal ang measurement. As well as, BR or side BR and side WE are also congruent because of these markings. Since they are congruent and we know that side BR and side WE are opposite sides, as well as BW and RE are also opposite sides. So therefore, it is very good. It is a parallelogram. Yes, ang sagot. Why? How will you justify it? Okay, because of the property that said that the pairs of opposite sides are congruent. Alright? Kita nyo naman, no? They are congruent to each other. So, that is our justification. We know that the pairs of opposite sides are congruent based on the markings given. Right? For our example number 2, here, our task is to find the values of A, B, and X and Y in the parallelogram love. No? So, given na dito na parallelogram yung ating mga given figures. Meron tayong tatlong figures. Ang una ay ang ating parallelogram LOVE. Since alam natin, dun pa lang sa ating instruction, sa ating directions, na it is already a parallelogram. So, let us see if how can we apply those properties or those conditions to solve for the values of the unknown or yung mga values ng A, P, X, and Y in our given figure. Here in our letter A, for our parallelogram love, ang mga hinihingi dito ay ang mga unknown variables are A and X. Ano? A and X. So here, how can we solve this? Okay. So una, alamin muna natin or isipin muna natin what property or what properties of a parallelogram can help us in solving for the value. So gamitin natin yung mga pwede nating pruweba. Ano? So una, alam naman na ito yung given. No, si angle L and angle E. Alamin natin what is their relationship. Ano ba ang relasyon ni angle L and kay angle E? Since we know that they are, yes, very good. They are consecutive angles. Since they are consecutive angles, so therefore, we can say that, yes, using the property of the parallelogram, we know that a quadrilateral is a parallelogram if any two consecutive angles are supplementary. They are supplementary. When we say supplementary, their sum is equal to 180 degrees. So, ibig sabihin pala, kapag inad natin si angle L and si angle E, magtototal siya ng 180 degrees. Now, let us form an equation. Mag-form tayo ng equation para ma-solve natin si A. Yung nawawalang A, hindi kasi natin alam, ano? So, angle L and angle E are consecutive angles. Therefore, they are supplementary. Ibig sabihin, our equation will be measure ni angle L plus yung measure ni angle E ay equal sa 180 degrees. Pag pinag-add natin yung dalawang measurement ng consecutive angles, equal siya sa 180 degrees. Now, let us substitute the values. Ano ang value ni angle L? Correct. We have 112. How about si angle E? Ang angle E natin ay measure ng, very good, 2A is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so what is the next step? Paano ba natin solve yan? Meron na tayong linear equation. Applying what we have learned during our previous grade, solving linear equations, ang gagawin natin is through transposition. We can transpose now the 112 to the other side. Ano? I-transpose natin to the other side. we have the left side and the right side. Ilalagay natin ngayon sa right side. At kapag naglagay tayo sa right side, yung ating positive magiging negative. So this will become 2a is equal to 180 minus 112. Ganyan po pag natranspose, ha? Now, let us simplify. Ang 180 minus 112 is equal to, what is the answer? Alright, so that is 68. Kapag pinag-minus natin yon, 68. So, the resulting equation will be 2a is equal to 68. 2a is equal to 68. To solve for a, we have to eliminate 2. At para ma-eliminate natin, matanggal natin si 2, sa kanyang tab, kailangan kasi ma-isolate natin si a. Ibig sabihin na-isolate siya lang ang matira. A lang, walang 2. Ano? Wala yung numerical coefficient, dapat 1 lang. Ano? So, let us divide both sides by 2. Dividing both sides by 2, we can cancel out 2. So, a divided by 2 is a. 68 divided by 2 is equal to 34. So, therefore, a is equal to 34. Okay, maliwanag po ba doon? Alright. So, na-solve na natin si a. Let us now solve for x. Okay? In solving for x, we know that here, a quadrilateral is a parallelogram if both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. Alam naman natin that they are congruent, di ba? Pares lang ang sukat ni angle L and angle V, and they are opposite angles. Opposite angles are congruent. So, ibig sabihin, we can form an equation by through this property na measure ni angle L ay equal kay measure ni angle. Ma'am, bakit hindi nag-plus at equal? Kasi ang ginamit nating property ay yung ito, pairs ng opposite angles are congruent. So, base sa property, doon din tayo magpo-form ng ating equation. Si angle L ay congruent kay angle V. Therefore, ang measure ni angle L ay equal sa measure ni angle V. Maliwanag po? Alright. Let us substitute the values. Ang measure ni angle L ay equal sa 4x plus 8. At ang measure ni angle V ay equal sa, okay, baliktad pala tayo, no? Ang measure ni angle L ay equal sa 112 degrees. At ang measure ni angle V ay equal sa 4x plus 8. Now, anong gagawin natin sunod? Ayan, let us apply the solving linear equations. So that is by transposing the 8 into the right side. So, magiging yung positive natin, magiging negative. So, this will become 112 minus 8. So, 112 minus 8 is equal to 104. So, 4h is equal to 104. So, to isolate h, at to isolate x, at para ma-isolate natin, para ma-eliminate natin si 4, we have to divide both sides by 4. Therefore, x is equal to 26. 104 divided by 4 is equal to 26. So, na-solve na natin si x natin or yung ating unknown variable. Let us have now our letter B. Here, our figure is parallelogram LOV again with the given side LO is equal to 8x minus 5 while side EV is equal to 3x plus 20. Now, so ano kaya yung makakatulong sa atin or alin sa mga properties ng parallelogram ang makakatulong sa atin in order to solve for the variable x? Right, tingnan nyo, ang given ang given lang naman dito ay ating line LO or side LO and side EV. Ano ba ang relationship ng dalawa? Okay, correct. Ang relationship ng dalawa ay sila ay opposite angles, sila ay opposite sides, sila ay magkatapat na side. Ano? And we know that one of the properties of a parallelogram states that if both pairs of opposite sides are congruent, ay equal daw ang measurement ng ating opposite sides. So, therefore, we can form an equation as, ang measure ni side LO ay equal sa measure ni side EV. Okay? Did you agree? Alright. So, tama naman that a measuring angle O ay equals a measuring angle EV ni side EV because of this property. Right. Now, substituting the values. Ang measuring angle LO ay, ni side LO ay 8x minus 5. Ang measure ni side EV ay 3x plus 20. Now, solving the linear equation, pagsamahin natin yung may mga variable at yung constant. So, si 3x, ilipat natin sa right side. At si negative 5, sa left side. At si negative 5, ilipat natin sa right side again. Si 3x, ilipat natin sa left side. At si negative 5, ilipat natin sa right side. At kapag nag-transpose tayo, we are changing the sign. So, therefore, that will become 8x minus 3x. Si positive 3x, naging negative 3x. Plus 20 plus 5. Si negative 5 ay naging positive 5. Now, isimplify na natin. 8x minus 3x is equal to 5x. 20 plus 5 is equal to 25. Now, solving for x, we have to divide both sides by. Very good. So, that is dividing both sides by 5. Dividing both sides by 5, makakancel natin si 5. So, we have x is equal to, what is 25 divided by 5? Right. So, that is 5. So, the value of x is equal to 5. Naliwanag po? For our last example, here, our figure LOVE, ang given naman natin dito na figure ay, okay, ito, meron tayong diagonals. Ano, ang tawag dito ay diagonals. So, here it states that yung mula doon sa point of intersection, they are congruent. Now, as well as si E and hanggang doon sa ating point of intersection, as well as O hanggang doon sa ating intersection. Y plus 3 and 2y minus 11. Pero dito, ang pinakita lang ay LV lamang yung ating given. Ano? LV lamang ang given na congruent or yung L mula doon sa point of intersection as well as V hanggang doon sa point na yon. So, congruent sila. Can we say that E to the point of intersection as well as side O mula hanggang doon sa point of intersections are congruent? Alright, correct. So, congruent po sila kasi a quadrilateral sa parallel if its diagonals bisect each other. Hindi lang isa ang binisect, kundi isa't isa. Ang isa't isa. Ano? If ito ay L hanggang doon sa point of intersection ay congruent dito, sa side na to, ganun din po yung another diagonal. Ito po ay congruent dito. So, therefore, having this property, we can form an equation as y plus 3 is equal to 2y minus 11 kasi congruent nga sila. Pag congruent sila, pareha sila ng measurement. Y plus 3 is equal to 2y minus 11. Meron na ngayon tayong linear equation. If we have the linear equation, we can now solve this. Paano natin solve yan? Pagsamahin natin yung may variable as well as the constant. Now, yung 3, isinama natin yung constant na negative 11. So, kapag tinranspose sa left side, this will become positive. So, 3 plus 11. Si 2y, pinartner po si y. Si y, inilipat sa other side, kaya naging negative y. Then, simplifying, 3 plus 11 is 14. 2y minus y is y. So, therefore, ang value po ng y natin ay 14 by using or applying this property of a parallelogram.
We're almost there. And to tell you honestly, you are really doing great. At this stage, let us apply what we have learned in our real-life situation. So this will be your performance-based tasks. These are your tasks. In your home, observe things that are quadrilaterals. You have to list them down and identify the kind of quadrilaterals. After that, you have to measure the length of their sides, the angles, and their diagonals using the different measuring devices. It could be a ruler, a protractor, or a tape measure, or any measuring devices available at your home. And then, you have to determine if the quadrilaterals are parallelogram or not based on the different properties that you know or the conditions that would guarantee that a quadrilateral is a parallelogram. The most important part is to provide a thorough explanation on why the said quadrilateral is a parallelogram or not. You can present your output in any style or method that you want. It can be a video or PowerPoint presentation, a brochure, scrapbook, a magazine style, or anything that is available to your resources. You have to be creative in presenting your output. Your output will be graded based on the following criteria. The first is by the mathematical concept. Does your output demonstrate a thorough understanding of the concept? Another thing is the accuracy. Are all information provided as correct and logically presented? You also have to give emphasis on the organization of the report. Is the flow of the discussion smooth, logical, and easy to understand? And of course, lastly is the presentation of the output. Did you present the work intelligently, clearly, and concisely? Alright, so these are all the criteria that would be the basis of your grades. So your output would be graded as the excellent, satisfactory, developing, or beginning.